3 months ago, I was sitting in my car outside a coffee shop at 6 a.m., staring at my phone screen, scrolling through social media. My heart was racing. My mind was spinning. I had just seen another success story, another person my age launching their dream business, another highlight reel that made my life feel small, empty, like I was falling behind in some invisible race I never signed up for. And in that moment, something hit me. I realized I had been chasing happiness like it was a finish line, like it was some destination I could GPS my way to, get the job, find the relationship, hit the income goal, buy the house, and then I'd be happy. Then I'd finally arrive. But sitting there in that parking lot, with the weight of my own expectations crushing down on me, I understood something profound. Happiness isn't a place you arrive at. It's not a destination you can book a ticket to. It's a choice you make every single day, every single moment, every single breath. If you're watching this right now, chances are you know exactly what I'm talking about. You felt that gnawing sensation in your chest when you compare your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You've experienced that Sunday night anxiety, that Monday morning dread, that feeling like you're running on a treadmill that never stops but never gets you anywhere. You're not alone. In fact, you're part of a generation that has access to more information, more opportunities, and more connections than any generation in human history. Yet we're also the most anxious, the most depressed, the most lost we've ever been. Why? Because we've been conditioned to believe that happiness is something we achieve, not something we choose. Today, I want to take you on a journey, not to some mystical destination where all your problems disappear, but to a place much more powerful. A place within yourself where you realize that the happiness you've been searching for in every external circumstance, every achievement, every validation from others, has been sitting inside you this entire time. This isn't just another motivational talk. This is about rewiring the very foundation of how you see yourself, your life, and your unlimited potential to create joy from the inside out. Asterisk. Building energy asterisk. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was a 24-year-old marketing coordinator who messaged me last year. She had everything that was supposed to make her happy: a college degree her parents were proud of, a stable job in a trendy downtown office, an Instagram feed that looked like a lifestyle magazine. But every morning, she told me she would wake up with this crushing weight on her chest, this feeling that she was living someone else's life. Sarah had fallen into what I call the happiness trap. She believed that happiness was the result of external circumstances aligning perfectly. Get promoted, then she'd be happy. Find the right relationship, then she'd be fulfilled. Save enough money, then she'd feel secure. But here's what Sarah discovered, and what I want you to understand right now: external circumstances don't create internal peace. They never have, and they never will. Think about the last time something amazing happened to you. Maybe you got accepted into your dream school, landed that job you wanted, or had an incredible night out with friends. How long did that high last? A day, a week, a month? And then what happened? You returned to your baseline. You found new problems to worry about, new goals to chase, new reasons why you weren't quite happy yet. This is the hedonic treadmill, and every single one of us is on it. We chase the next high, the next achievement, the next external validation, thinking it will finally be the thing that makes us happy, but it never is. Because happiness built on external circumstances is like building a house on quicksand. It looks solid from the outside, but it's fundamentally unstable. Asterisk. deepening the message asterisk. Now, I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine if I told you that there's a version of you that exists right now. In this moment, that is already complete, already whole, already enough. Not because of what you've accomplished or what you own or who validates you, but simply because you exist, because you're here, because you're breathing, because you have this incredible gift called consciousness that allows you to experience this moment. That version of you isn't waiting for permission to be happy. That version of you isn't postponing joy until conditions are perfect. That version of you understands something that most people spend their entire lives trying to figure out. Happiness is not a destination you arrive at. It's a way of traveling. But here's where most people get stuck. They think this means they should just be positive all the time. Just think happy thoughts and everything will be fine. That's not what I'm talking about. That's spiritual bypassing. And it's actually harmful. What I'm talking about is something much deeper. I'm talking about a fundamental shift in how you understand what happiness actually is. Happiness isn't the absence of problems. It's not the presence of perfect circumstances. Happiness is the ability to find peace within yourself regardless of what's happening around you. It's the skill of creating internal stability in an inherently unstable world. Let me share something that changed my entire perspective. I was reading about Thomas Edison one night, and I came across something fascinating. Edison failed over 0 times before he successfully invented the light bulb. When a reporter asked him about all those failures, Edison said something profound. I didn't fail 0 times. I found Ein's 0 ways that didn't work. Do you see the difference? Edison's happiness, his fulfillment, his sense of purpose wasn't dependent on the outcome. It was rooted in the process, in the journey, in the daily choice to see each setback not as evidence that he should give up, but as information that brought him closer to his goal. This is what I mean when I say happiness is a journey you choose. It's choosing to find meaning in the struggle. It's choosing to see growth in the challenges. It's choosing to believe that you are exactly where you need to be. Learning exactly what you need to learn. Becoming exactly who you need to become, asterisk. Transitioning to mindset, asterisk. But this choice isn't always easy. In fact, it's probably one of the hardest things you'll ever do, because everything in our culture, everything in our society, everything in our conditioning tells us to look outside ourselves for happiness. We're bombarded with messages that we're not enough as we are, that we need more, need to be more. We need to do more before we can be happy. Your mind, that beautiful but sometimes chaotic voice in your head, has been programmed since childhood to seek happiness in all the wrong places. It's been conditioned to believe in scarcity instead of abundance, to focus on what's missing instead of what's present, to worry about the future instead of appreciating the now. But here's the incredible news. You have the power to reprogram your mind. You have the ability to choose new thoughts, new beliefs, new patterns every single day, every single moment. You get to decide what story you tell yourself about your life. I want you to think about your internal dialogue right now. What voice do you hear when you wake up in the morning? Is it encouraging you, supporting you, reminding you of your potential? Or is it criticizing you, comparing you to others, telling you all the reasons why today might not go well? That voice isn't you. That voice is a collection of thoughts, beliefs, and patterns you've accumulated over years. Some of them serve you, many of them don't. But here's what most people don't realize. You have the power to change that voice. You have the ability to become the narrator of your own life story instead of letting random thoughts and external influences write your script. Gandhi once said, Be the change you wish to see in the world. But before you can be that change in the world, you have to be that change in your own mind. You have to start choosing thoughts that serve your highest good instead of just accepting whatever random mental chatter happens to be playing. This is where real transformation begins. Not when your circumstances change, but when your relationship to your circumstances changes. Not when your life becomes perfect, but when you realize that perfection was never the goal. Growth was, learning was, becoming the fullest expression of who you're meant to be was, asterisk. Expanding on vision and purpose, asterisk. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. What would you do with your life if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you create? What would you build? What impact would you have? How would you spend your days? Most people never seriously consider this question because they're so focused on avoiding failure that they never take the time to envision success. They're so busy trying to fit in that they never discover what they're meant to stand for. They're so concerned with meeting other people's expectations that they never explore their own desires. But here's what I've learned from studying the most fulfilled people throughout history. They all had one thing in common. They weren't chasing happiness as an end goal. They were chasing purpose. They were driven by something bigger than themselves. They found meaning in their struggle because their struggle was connected to something they believed in deeply. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job because his editor said he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Can you imagine Walt Disney lacking imagination? But Disney didn't let someone else's limited vision define his potential. He had a clear picture of what he wanted to create, and he pursued that vision with relentless determination. Disney understood something crucial. Your vision for your life is more important than anyone else's opinion of your life. Your sense of purpose is more powerful than any external validation. Your commitment to your growth is more valuable than any temporary comfort. When you have a clear vision for who you want to become and what you want to contribute to the world, happiness stops being something you chase and starts being something you experience along the way. Because you're not waiting for permission to start living. You're not postponing your joy until you achieve some arbitrary milestone. You're finding fulfillment in the daily process of becoming. But here's where many people get stuck. They think their purpose has to be some grand, world-changing mission. They think they need to cure cancer or end world hunger or become the next Steve Jobs. That's not true. Your purpose might be raising children who feel loved and confident. Your purpose might be creating art that makes people feel less alone. Your purpose might be building a business that solves a problem you're passionate about. The size of your purpose isn't what matters. What matters is that it's authentic to you. What matters is that it gets you excited to wake up in the morning. What matters is that it connects you to something larger than your own immediate desires and fears. Asterisk. Moving into letting go, asterisk. But as you start to clarify your vision and connect with your purpose, you're going to encounter resistance. And I'm not just talking about external resistance, though that will come too. I'm talking about internal resistance. The voice in your head that says you're not qualified, not experienced enough, not smart enough, not connected enough. This is where the art of letting go becomes essential. Because holding on to limiting beliefs about yourself is like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on. You might move forward, but you'll never reach your potential. You'll never experience the joy and freedom that comes from fully expressing who you are. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean accepting mediocrity or settling for less than you deserve. Letting go means releasing your attachment to things you cannot control, so you can focus all your energy on the things you can control. You cannot control what other people think about you. You cannot control whether you get accepted or rejected. You cannot control economic conditions or global pandemics or whether other people appreciate your efforts. But you can control how you respond to these things. You can control the story you tell yourself about what they mean. You can control whether you let them stop you or strengthen you. Henry Ford revolutionized transportation, but before he changed the world, he had to let go of conventional thinking. When he started working on the automobile, People told him it was impossible. They said if people were meant to travel that fast, God would have given them wheels instead of legs. Ford had to let go of the need for everyone to understand his vision. He had to let go of the safety of doing what everyone else was doing. Most importantly, Ford had to let go of the fear of failure, because he understood something that most people never learn. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone to success. Every failure contains information. Every setback contains a lesson. Every rejection contains redirection towards something better aligned with your purpose. When you truly understand this, when you truly internalize that everything happens for your growth and learning, you stop being afraid of life. You stop trying to control outcomes you can't control. You stop wasting energy on worry and regret and comparison. Instead, you channel all that energy into becoming the person you're meant to become, asterisk. Transitioning to gratitude, asterisk. And this is where something magical happens. When you stop focusing on what's missing from your life and start appreciating what's already present, your entire experience of reality shifts. When you stop waiting for perfect conditions to be happy and start finding reasons to be grateful right now, you discover that happiness has been available to you all along. Gratitude isn't just a nice idea or a spiritual concept. It's a practical tool that literally rewires your brain. When you consistently focus on what you're grateful for, you train your mind to look for the positive instead of the negative. You train your attention to notice opportunities instead of obstacles. You train your heart to feel abundance instead of scarcity. But here's what most people get wrong about gratitude. They think it means being thankful for everything that happens to you. That's not gratitude. That's denial. Real gratitude acknowledges that life is difficult and challenging and sometimes unfair, and finds reasons to be thankful anyway. Real gratitude says, yes, I'm going through a tough time right now, and I'm grateful for the strength I'm discovering within myself. Real gratitude says, yes, this situation didn't turn out how I wanted, and I'm grateful for the lesson it's teaching me. Real gratitude says, yes, I don't have everything I want yet, and I'm grateful for everything I do have and the opportunity to grow toward what I desire. Abraham Lincoln faced more rejection, more failure, more personal tragedy than most people could imagine. He lost his mother when he was 9. He failed in business multiple times. He lost more political races than he won. He suffered from what we would now recognize as severe depression. But Lincoln understood something about gratitude that kept him going through the darkest times. Lincoln was grateful for his struggles because he knew they were preparing him for something bigger. He was grateful for his failures because he knew they were teaching him resilience. He was grateful for his pain because he knew it was developing his empathy for others who suffered. When Lincoln finally became president, he brought all of that experience, all of that wisdom, all of that hard-earned strength to the role. His struggles didn't disqualify him from leadership. They prepared him for it. His pain didn't make him bitter. It made him compassionate. His failures didn't convince him he wasn't enough. They taught him that enough is a choice, not a condition. This is the power of gratitude. It transforms your relationship with your entire life story. Instead of seeing your challenges as evidence that life is unfair, you start seeing them as evidence that life is preparing you for something greater. Instead of resenting your struggles, you start appreciating them for the strength and wisdom they're building within you. Asterisk. Building toward positive habits. Asterisk. But gratitude, like happiness, isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you practice. It's something you choose. It's something you build into your daily life through intentional habits and consistent action. This is where most people's transformation stalls out. They have a moment of inspiration, a breakthrough insight, a powerful realization about their potential, But then they go back to their old routines, their old thought patterns, their old ways of being, and slowly, gradually, they return to their old results. Real change doesn't happen in moments of inspiration. Real change happens in moments of implementation. It happens when you take the insights you've gained and turn them into daily practices. When you take the vision you've clarified and break it down into specific, actionable steps. When you take the person you want to become and start showing up as that person today. Carnegie, one of the most successful businessmen in American history, had a simple philosophy. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. But Carnegie understood that doing isn't just about taking action. It's about taking the right action consistently over time. Every successful person I've ever studied has one thing in common. They understand the power of compound growth. They understand that small, consistent actions taken daily create massive results over time. They understand that you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be persistent. Think about it this way. If you improve just 1% every day for a year, you would be 37 times better by the end of that year. 37 times, not 365% better, 37 times better. That's the mathematical power of compound growth. And it applies to every area of your life. 1% better at managing your thoughts, 8% better at choosing empowering beliefs, 1% better at focusing on what you can control instead of what you can't, 1% better at practicing gratitude, 1% better at taking action towards your goals, 1% better at treating yourself with kindness and respect. These improvements might seem insignificant day by day, but over weeks, in months, and years, they completely transform who you are and what you're capable of achieving. They turn you into the person who naturally experiences happiness, not as a destination they're trying to reach, but as a natural result of how they choose to live, deepening into self-love. But here's the foundation that everything else is built on. And it's the piece that most people overlook. You cannot consistently choose happiness, practice gratitude, or build positive habits if you don't fundamentally love and accept yourself. This is probably the hardest part of the journey for most people. Because we live in a culture that profits from your insecurity, we're constantly bombarded with messages that we're not attractive enough, successful enough, smart enough, productive enough, spiritual enough. We're taught to see ourselves as problems to be solved instead of miracles to be celebrated. But self-love isn't about thinking you're perfect. It's not about ignoring your flaws or pretending you don't have room to grow. Self-love is about treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would show to someone you care about deeply. If your best friend came to you struggling with the same challenges you're facing, what would you say to them? Would you criticize them? Would you remind them of all their past failures? Would you tell them they're not good enough and should give up? Of course not. You would encourage them. You would remind them of their strengths. You would help them see possibilities they couldn't see themselves. Why don't you treat yourself that way? The relationship you have with yourself is the template for every other relationship in your life. If you're constantly critical of yourself, you'll attract people who are critical of you. If you don't believe you deserve love and respect, you'll settle for relationships where you don't receive love and respect. If you don't think you're worthy of success and happiness, you'll unconsciously sabotage opportunities for success and happiness. But when you truly love and accept yourself, when you see yourself as worthy of all the good things you desire, something shifts in your entire reality. You start attracting people and opportunities that match your new self-image. You start making choices that honor your worth. You start building a life that reflects your highest vision for yourself. This doesn't happen overnight. Self-love is a practice, not a destination. It's choosing to speak to yourself with kindness even when you make mistakes. It's choosing to forgive yourself for past decisions instead of carrying guilt and shame into your future. It's choosing to believe in your potential even when your current results don't yet reflect that potential. Asterisk. Building to emotional peak. Asterisk. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and instead of immediately checking your phone, instead of immediately flooding your mind with other people's opinions and priorities and problems, you took a moment to check in with yourself. Imagine looking in the mirror and instead of focusing on what you don't like about your appearance, you acknowledge yourself for making it through another day, for continuing to grow, for having the courage to keep pursuing your dreams even when it's difficult. Imagine going through your day and instead of comparing yourself to others, you celebrated your own progress. Instead of focusing on what you haven't accomplished yet, you appreciated what you have accomplished. Instead of waiting for perfect conditions to be happy, you found reasons to be grateful right now. Imagine ending your day not with regret about what you didn't do, but with appreciation for what you did do, not with worry about tomorrow, but with excitement about the opportunity to grow and contribute and become more of who you're meant to be. This isn't fantasy. This isn't wishful thinking. This is available to you right now. Today, this moment, because happiness isn't something you achieve in the future. It's something you choose in the present, every single day. You get to decide who you're going to be. Every single moment, you get to choose what story you're going to tell yourself about your life. Every single breath is an opportunity to start fresh, to let go of what no longer serves you, to embrace what lifts you up, the life you've been dreaming about, the person you've been wanting to become, the impact you've been hoping to make. It all starts with a simple decision. The decision to stop waiting for external circumstances to give you permission to be happy. The decision to stop postponing your joy until conditions are perfect. The decision to recognize that you already have everything you need to start living the life you want to live. Asterisk. Bringing it home with practical wisdom. Asterisk. But I want to be practical with you. I want to give you something you can take from this moment and apply immediately. Because inspiration without implementation is just entertainment. Starting today, I want you to implement what I call the 3-choice practice. Every morning when you wake up, before you do anything else, make these 3 choices. First, choose your thoughts. Instead of letting random mental chatter dictate your mood for the day, consciously select 3 thoughts that serve your highest good. Maybe it's, I am grateful for this new day and the opportunities it contains. Maybe it's, I trust that I am exactly where I need to be to learn what I need to learn. Maybe it's, I choose to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Second, choose your focus. Instead of immediately diving into other people's priorities through social media or news or messages, spend the first few minutes of your day focused on your own vision. Ask yourself, what do I want to create today? How do I want to show up? What kind of person do I want to be? Third, choose your gratitude. Identify 3 specific things you're grateful for in this moment. Not general things like family or health, but specific things. Maybe it's the comfortable bed you slept in. Maybe it's the fact that you have hot water for a shower. Maybe it's the opportunity to work on something you care about. These 3 choices take less than 5 minutes, but they set the tone for your entire day. They remind you that happiness is not something that happens to you. It's something you create through conscious choice. Throughout your day, when you notice yourself slipping into old patterns of thinking, when you catch yourself comparing or complaining or worrying about things you can't control, come back to these 3 choices. Ask yourself, what thought would serve me better right now? What should I be focusing on? What can I find to be grateful for in this moment? This isn't about positive thinking or pretending everything is perfect. This is about taking responsibility for your internal experience. This is about recognizing that while you can't control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond to what happens to you. Asterisk. Final inspiration and call to action. Asterisk. I want to leave you with a story that encapsulates everything we've talked about today. There's a Cherokee legend about an old man who was teaching his grandson about life. The old man said, "There's a fight going on inside me. It's a terrible fight between two wolves. One wolf is evil. He represents anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf is good. He represents joy, peace, love, I hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about this for a moment and then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf wins?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed every day, every moment, every choice. You are feeding one of these wolves. You are choosing to nurture thoughts and beliefs and habits that either move you toward happiness and fulfillment or away from it. You are choosing to focus on what's possible or what's problematic. You are choosing to see yourself as capable or incapable, worthy or unworthy, enough or not enough. The wolf you feed is the wolf that grows strong. The thoughts you think repeatedly become your beliefs. The beliefs you hold consistently become your identity. The identity you embrace fully becomes your reality." So I want to ask you, which wolf are you going to feed today? Which thoughts are you going to choose? Which story are you going to tell yourself about your life and your potential and your worthiness of all the good things you desire? Remember, happiness is not a destination you arrive at when everything in your life is perfect. Happiness is a journey you choose when you decide that your peace, your joy, your fulfillment is not dependent on external circumstances, it's dependent on internal choices. You have been given this one precious life, this one incredible opportunity to make a difference, to grow, to love, to create, to contribute. Don't waste it waiting for permission to be happy. Don't postpone your joy until conditions are perfect. Don't let another day pass where you're so focused on the destination that you forget to enjoy the journey. The silence within you, that peaceful space beneath all the mental noise and external chaos, is always available to you. It's been waiting patiently for you to remember that everything you've been searching for outside yourself has been inside you all along. Your happiness, your peace, your sense of purpose, your ability to love and be loved, your unlimited potential to grow and create and contribute, it's all there. Right now, waiting for you to choose it. So choose it. Choose happiness not as a destination, but as a way of traveling. Choose peace not as the absence of problems, but as the presence of purpose. Choose love not as something you receive from others, but as something you give to yourself and the world. Choose to believe in yourself when no one else does. Choose to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. Choose to see possibilities when everyone else sees problems. Choose to trust that your dreams are not too big, but that you have been thinking too small about your ability to achieve them. Your journey toward the fullest expression of who you're meant to be starts now. Not tomorrow when you feel ready. Not next week when you have more time. Not next year when conditions are better. Now, this moment, this breath, this choice, if this message has resonated with you, if it's reminded you of something you already knew but had forgotten, if it's inspired you to start treating yourself and your life with the love and respect you deserve, then I want you to know something. This is just the beginning. This channel exists to remind you of your unlimited potential, to support you on your journey of growth and self-discovery, to provide you with practical tools and timeless wisdom that can help you create the life you've been dreaming about. If you found value in this message, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss content that could change your life. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below and let me know which part resonated most with you. Because your insights and experiences help create a community of people committed to growth and positive change. But most importantly, take action. Take one small step today toward the person you want to become. Make one choice that honors your highest good. Practice one moment of gratitude, self-love, or conscious thought selection. Because remember, happiness is not a destination you're trying to reach. It's a journey you choose to take, and that journey, your journey toward peace and fulfillment and the fullest expression of your potential, starts with a single step. Take that step today. Your future self is waiting for you on the other side of that choice. The silence within you is calling. The peace you've been searching for is ready to be found. The happiness you deserve is ready to be chosen. Choose it now. Choose it today. Choose it in this moment because you are worthy. You are enough. You are exactly where you need to be to become everything you're meant to be. Your journey to lasting happiness starts now.